Welcome everyone to this trauma-informed SVRI meditation session. My name is Anik and I am the Programs Technical Specialist at SVRI. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us to prioritize your well-being. As you may know, the subject of well-being and care is very close to our hearts at SVRI. Last year, we started a new project called We Care, which aims to advance staff care, well-being, and resilience across our organization and across our network. My wonderful colleague Leila is going to share a link to our project website with you in the chat box so that you can learn more about the project. One part of this project is going to be a series of different online events in which we'll be exploring different aspects of self and collective care, from leadership and organizational care to decolonial approaches to addressing well-being. Today's session is the first of these online events. It felt appropriate that the first event should allow us all the space to focus on ourselves and to offer us a calm and caring space, especially in these hectic and challenging times. This is to try to help us center and ground ourselves. And for those of you who have just joined, a reminder that we are going to be recording the session, but we will not be recording any of the discussions in any of the breakout rooms. We're delighted that we're joined by Paula Ramirez, who is going to be leading the session. She's going to be guiding us through just under an hour of gentle, trauma-informed meditation practice, and then offer us an opportunity to connect with each other in the space. She's also going to leave us with some guidance for how we can start to embed meditation into our regular care practice. Paula has been co-directing SVRI, an organization promoting mindfulness in Colombia, since 2013. She's worked closely with survivors of trauma in many countries, including Colombia, South Sudan, and Bangladesh. Paula is currently working as a consultant for the gender-based violence area of responsibility, supporting self-care for first responders in countries including Iraq, Yemen, Venezuela, and Nigeria. A very warm welcome to Paula, and over to you.
Anik, thank you so much. And thank you all for being here. And thank you, Leila, for making it happen as well. Well, as Anik shared with you, I'm Paula Ramirez, and I'm going to be guiding you through this trauma-informed mindfulness session. Yes, I just want to give like a brief outline of how we are imagining our session so that you can have an idea, yes, of how is it going to be like. Yes, so we're going to give a landing, yes, so that we can feel the transition and allow ourselves to be here. Yes, then afterwards I'm going to go into sharing with you what are the main findings in a very simple way of the work that we have done doing self-care work, yes, for gender-based violence first responders the past 2 years with the GBV-AOR, in terms of why is it so difficult to integrate self-care. Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about our nervous system, the stress response, in a very simple way, the way in which habit is wired, and how is it that trauma-informed mindfulness practice supports the possibility of inhabiting our nervous system in different place. And we're going to do a trauma-informed mindfulness practice, yes. And then we're going to go into a breakout rooms so that we can feel connected, share if you feel like it. You're going to have the option to stay in the main room if you don't feel like going into the breakout. As Anik say, I'm going to repeat it, they're not going to be recorded. So just, and we're going to come back to the main session and close. Yes, that's more or less the outline. So having said that, yes, I would like to just to invite you to land, yes, to arrive into the session. One of the main findings that we have had is that we're not making transitions no more. Yes, we're just jumping from one meeting to other, one session to other. We are, perhaps you might find yourself even in this moment being here, but also answering an email or answering a WhatsApp message. Yes. And that's just to point out, yes, just like to notice how is it that our mind and our nervous system is kind of all over the place. You want to really land, to just perhaps, if you feel like it, yes, we can turn our cameras on. If there's anybody that doesn't want to do so, please, you don't feel like doing it because of any reason, it's fine. But if you feel like opening your camera just for a moment so that we can take a look at each other, yes, and the ones that don't feel like opening it, we can just read the names of the people that are there and feel, yes, and slowly, like realizing, yes, like noticing. So it's Liz saying hello, and then Judy replied, and then, yes, like, and we can just take a moment to feel into each other, yes, including as well the ones, yes, Nicola, Rawan, Tilina, yes, that they chose to stay with their camera closed, and it's just so I can turn, yeah, no, it's totally fine, Rawan, we understand. Yes, it's just to make us like a short connection so that we can again land here and feel who are the people that are part of this session, which is something that we perhaps don't do often, yes, as we run here and there into sessions, into meetings. And noticing how is it that you're breathing while you take a look to this group. What do you find out about yourself when you take a look at this group of people? Yeah. Again, noticing breath and how is it to be here. So thank you for allowing yourselves to land into being here. Yes. You may choose again to close your video for the same reason as Rawan, the connection, or because perhaps it may happen, yes, that you have to do something else. Yes. So it's totally fine. Yes. So feel free to come in and out of the session as you feel like it. Yes. We would love to have your full attention here, but we understand as well how it goes. So you can choose again, yes, like to have your camera open or closed. What I want us to walk into, yes, is into kind of understanding. Yes, I would like to just share with you this finding that we have had in working with self-care, and is why is it that is so difficult for us in general, but in the humanitarian world, yes, to integrate self-care practices. Yes, and that has to do with habit. Yes, that has to do with just being, like running so much, and it has to do with what we train the most, which is our survival brain, our survival mode. Yes, and the survival aspect, not only of our brain, but of our nervous system. Yes, just because of time, and I want us to give more time to practice and to sharing. I'm not going to go very deeply into our brain, but into our nervous system. Yes, like the connection of that survival aspect, so that we understand how habit is wired. Yes. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Yeah, so I'm having it here. So the first thing that is important for me is that we go back into, I just want to ask you a question, yes, and is if you have felt sometimes that I don't know, like you're having a conversation with somebody, and then the person that you're having a conversation with says something to you, and you suddenly out of the blue, like you're angry, and you say something like really mean, or you throw something, or you, yes, and you just go back to your room and say like, why did I say that? Or maybe you're morning in a rush and your child like throws milk or whatever, and you're like, out of your mind, and then you go back to your room and you say like, why did I overreact? It's just milk. It's just like, yes. Has that happened to any one of you? Can I see maybe a reaction or something? Yes, so I see people nodding. Yes. And yeah, so welcome to be a human being. Yes, that happens to us. Yes, and that is because of a part of our brain, yes, which is the survival part of our brain, which is the amygdala. Yes, that it works. It's at the base of our head. Yes, we're going to touch it a little bit when we go into our trauma-informed practice. But it's just here in the back. Yes, and it's the part that puts us into a reactivity mode. Yes. So what it does is it says, alarm, fight, yes, or fly away, or freeze. Yes. The freeze comes from another part, but those are the mechanisms of our survival aspect. Yes, of our survival aspect of how we are wired. The thing of our survival part, yes, is that it has been useful for us as a species to be here. Yes, our survival brain has allowed us to fly away from a tiger. Yes, whenever there's a tiger, whenever we need to really survive. But daily life, yes, to have our survival brain constantly going on makes us feel a little bit like close with no space. Yes, the container of our nervous system closes and is not very wide. There is another part of our brain, which is the one that when you go to your room and you sit down and you say, what did I do? Which is the prefrontal cortex here in front. Yes, it's the newest part of our brain. It's here. And it allows us to respond instead of reacting. Yes. The thing with our survival mechanism is that as it is for us to survive, yes, whenever we are going to have information from the outside, the first who is going to take the information is the amygdala. Yes, but it's very important to train our prefrontal cortex to be more present, to be more here. Yes, so that we, in the moment of survival, we say, oh, we realize, we breathe and open space in our nervous system. We're going to jump right now into the nervous system, into understanding how what I'm explaining works with the nervous system, and we're going to go into a small experiment so that we have an experience of what is it that I'm talking about. I'm going to share our nervous system here. So our nervous system is divided in two parts. Yes, our sympathetic and our parasympathetic nervous system. Yes, whenever we feel that there's a threat outside, which can be a real threat or the threat of our child spitting milk. Yes, our sympathetic nervous system, our amygdala in the brain, sends a signal to the sympathetic nervous system. It's like, hey, come, yes, let's do something. And what happens is that we go into the fight or flight response. Yes, so it connects from the brain through our spine down, and we start feeling that our pupils need to be bigger. Yes, so that we can have more vision. We may feel that saliva is not there. We may feel that our heart rate increases, that our blood vessel constrict, our bronchi need to get bigger so that we can breathe more. Yes, our stomach, yes, the motility, which is the capacity that our stomach has to move the bowels, yes, it stops because all the energy is moving towards fighting or flying. Yes, so we're going to do a small experiment here so that we understand the tone of this nervous system, yes, of this part of the sympathetic. So the experiment goes as follows. Yes, let's bring our hand, yes, just here near by your chin, yes, like at this height. Not doing much, just like feeling your hand there, noticing how is it that you're breathing. And then suddenly make a fist. Strong, a fist. What happens with your breath? Can anybody just like perhaps unmute or share in the chat box what happened with your breath and with perhaps your other muscles? Perhaps you felt that your breath stopped. Yes, maybe you felt like your breath. Yes. Or maybe you felt that other muscles closed, constricted. Yes. This is the quality of the sympathetic tone. Yes, we're constantly in this constriction. Yes. So this is the sympathetic. Yes, let's go and check into the parasympathetic nervous system. Yes, when our parasympathetic, the rest and digest response. Yes, that this is the one that, again, when you go back to your room and you say, why did I overreact? Yes, this is the one that activates from the prefrontal cortex. Yes, and what it does is that your pupils don't need to go bigger. They're just at their normal way. Saliva is there, decrease heart rate, dilates blood vessels, yes, and you feel that your stomach can as well move. So this is like the two parts of our nervous system, and what happens is that when we don't give time to ourselves, when we don't give time to restore the nervous system, and that's what like mindfulness practices do. Yes, trauma-informed mindfulness practices, they restore our nervous system. When we don't have time to restore our nervous system, it's very much likely that we keep on being in the sympathetic tone. Yes, having less and less and less container to be out there doing the work that we do, but we have less container for self-care. Yes, because we are in this reactivity mode. So I want to invite you to come back into our experiment. Yes, into the fist experiment. Yes, if we come back here, yes, into our fist, where we perhaps feel that the breath stops, we feel a little bit constrained. What if you bring your breath into your fist? Yes, if you could imagine that your breath can flow into your fist. Imagining as if the fist itself could breathe. What does the hand want to do? You feel? Rebecca is doing like this, yes. Do you feel like it wants to open? Yes? Yes, right? So this is the quality of the parasympathetic nervous system, yes? And this is the quality that we are not inhabiting constantly, yes? We are most of the time a little bit constrained, a little bit like this, yes? And when our nervous system is in that mode, yes, in that reactive part, the other systems close as well. Yes, the muscle tone closes. Yes, the lymphatic closes as well. The bones close. Yes, and the whole system contracts. So it's very difficult to let something else come in, and it's tough. Yes, because we're just like this. Yes, so it's very difficult to have a different view about things in general. Yes, the programs that we do, yes, they are over 8 weeks. Yes, because we work with habit. What we're doing here may give you an idea of, oh, our reactive kind of way, and how is it that we're constantly in that shape. Yes, and that, yeah, that can give you an idea about yourself and about how you are. But working with that habit takes time. Yes, working with the possibility of restoring your nervous system takes time. And we do that. We've been doing that in our practices, in our session, with trauma-informed mindfulness practices, so that we can restore our nervous system. That's one, but also give room to really experience this, that we talk about bodily autonomy. Yes, because I may guide, yes, something, but the idea is not for people to follow what I guide, but for people to have room to feel what they feel and do what they feel like doing in the given moment. So if it's falling asleep, it's falling asleep. If it's following, it's following. If it's perhaps, no, I'm not moving my left shoulder, I'm moving my right shoulder because that's what I'm asked. Yes, that is what starts slowly, again, restoring our system and opening room to really listening to ourselves. Yes, which is very different from knowing that you need to do self-care practices. Yes, we may have a list of self-care practices by our screen in the laptop. Yes, and that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Yes, if we don't, again, give room to restore our physiology. It's very different knowing something that giving time, space, and rhythm to come back into the physiology. So yeah, I don't know if there are any questions about this before we jump into our trauma-informed mindfulness practice. Perhaps there's anything you can spontaneously open your mic or share in the chat box. Okay. So we're gonna jump into our trauma-informed mindfulness practice. So just noticing again, yeah, like really acknowledging that what I'm going to do is just an invitation. Yes, you can go into whatever you feel like doing in this moment. So the invitation is for us to take a moment to realize the place that we're in. Yes. So taking a look at the room that you're at, if you're at the office, if you're at the house, if you're working from home, so you are at the office being home. Yes. Just taking a moment to connect to that space. And for a moment, giving yourself the chance to feel gravity. Yes. To feel yourself being held. Yes. If you are seated in a chair, if you're seated on the floor, in your bed, perhaps. Like, how is it to feel for a moment this connection to gravity with the surface that you're in? Like, oh, I am being held. And perhaps how that connection to being held allows you to let go the muscle tone a little bit. Yes, you can do this with your eyes open or closed as you feel more comfortable for you. Or explore both so that you can allow your autonomy to come in and say, hey, perhaps this is what works best for you in this moment. Perhaps you can listen to some noises outside. Like, what is an anchor of attention in the place that you're in right now that allows you to come to the present and feeling this connection again to being held. Feeling that you don't need to hold all the energy and all the tension all the time, that you can allow yourself to be held. You may feel like a micro movement, yes, of the muscles, just like whew, letting go. I'm feeling in this moment, perhaps, the distance there is between your shoulders and your ears. And in doing so, realizing the distance there is between your upper teeth and your lower teeth. Yes, like perhaps noticing when we allow ourselves to be held by gravity, there's a very good ally to knowing what's happening with that, and it's our jaw. Yes, it's like, oh, okay. Yes, how is it that we can allow gravity to take our jaw as well? Giving room to our tongue. And even if you're doing something else, perhaps if you're writing, yes, something, but you're still listening to me, you can still open room to your jaw. And noticing how does that breathe? Yes, how does that breathe? I'm going to invite you into a movement of the head, which I'm going to guide. But I'm saying this just so that you can feel if you want to go into moving your head with me, or if you feel like just staying there resting in this being held by gravity, as you feel like it. Yes, you feel like following, perhaps bringing your chin towards your chest, so that you can open room to the vertebrae in your neck, yes, to the cervicals. And noticing there, how is it that you breathe? And allowing your head to move towards the right side, yes? But without taking the body to the limit, just imagining that you have a pillow between your ear and your shoulder. And that you're just allowing your head to rest. Notice something, and this is where it gets interesting, yes, and is that habit perhaps may take your right shoulder up. Yes, maybe you're so used to tension that your right shoulder comes up, and it's like, well, no, you can give room to your right shoulder to non-doing anything, allowing your head to rest on the right side. And bringing your head a little bit towards the back. Yes, and opening your jaw. Yes, like maybe making a noise. Yes, if we would go deeper into our parasympathetic nervous system, we would understand the importance that the voice and doing this kind of noises have, like has in regulating our nervous system. I'm bringing your head towards the left side. Yes. Noticing if perhaps the left shoulder wants to come up and it's like, oh, there you are. That's habit. So giving room to your left shoulder to fall. And again, imagining that you're having a pillow between your ear, between your left ear and your left shoulder. And allowing again your head to fall, chin to your chest. And slowly, slowly, yes, if you feel like bringing your head down as if gravity was pulling it down, and allowing your spine to come as well, yes? So that your vertebrae have more space, have more space, have more space. So if you were like rolling your spine and noticing how does that breathes. And bringing your attention to the base of your spine, yes? I'm bringing back vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. Yes, like aligning, like giving each bone space. Yes, we were until the head is the last one that comes up. Yes, we were saying, how is it that when our sympathetic nervous system is compressed, the other systems compress as well. The muscle system, the bone system, the lymphatic system, they compress. So it's like, how is it that giving room to the bones open space for the other systems as well? And realizing when you come up, what happens with your jaw. And again, noticing the distance there is between your shoulders and your ears. We're going to jump into the last part of this trauma-informed mindfulness practice, yes. So we're going to take the attention towards our hands, yes, and always checking in with you, noticing, after having done this, do I want to keep doing something else or I just feel like resting here? And allowing yourself just to do that. Yes, if you were perhaps writing something else and you're here and you just came back, giving yourself room just to be here. There was this guy from Yemen who used to say, it's so interesting how giving time for myself, it's a revolutionary act. Yes. Giving time for oneself, it's a revolutionary act. Then if you feel like it, again, bringing the attention of your mind towards your hands. And noticing there your hands, where is it that they are? Where are they resting? Perhaps on your lap. Remembering you can do this with your eyes open or closed. And how it would be for you to accompany your breath with the movements of your hand. Yeah, so perhaps breathing in, allowing your hands open. And breathing out, allowing your hands to close. So just giving room to explore. Yes, if you feel like perhaps exploring how it would be to breathe in and close your hand. Breathe out, open your hand. And giving yourself just room to interact, yes, like to coordinate that breath and movement of your hands in this moment. And feeling perhaps how that can expand to your arms, yes, like breathing in and perhaps moving your arms a little bit and feeling how your breath fills your chest. And coming back into contraction and expansion. Into contraction and expansion. You can do this only by following your breath or following your breath and movement, or just being present with sounds. And slowly, slowly, if you were following what I was inviting, just allowing yourself to come into just feeling the trace that left in your bones, in your muscles, in your nervous system, through your breath. And maybe there in what you're feeling right now, in what's alive, in what's happening, perhaps asking yourself the question of how is it that I relate to my self-care? And how is the quality of my muscle tone during the day? Just that, realizing. Trying not to judge, but just bringing awareness into that, like, oh, okay, this is how I relate to myself. Ah, okay. Just giving room to those questions. Perhaps just for closing, allowing your shoulders to come up towards your ears, breathing in. Yes. Feeling the tension of that. And ha. Yes. Allowing your breath to come out. Yes, you can do that with your voice. We can do once more. Yes, like breathing in, taking your shoulders towards your ears. Feeling your muscle tone, your bones, your lymphatic system, and giving room to all of your systems. As this person from Yemen would say, as a revolutionary act. In this way in which we are, we seem to having to do, and what would happen if we just allow ourselves to be for a moment? And going to a small non-doing, in an awareness of non-doing. which is not the time of holidays where we go and do a bunch of stuff and we come back home and we need holidays from holidays. It's just like this quality of being with yourself. And if you had your eyes closed, yes, allowing the eyelids to slowly, like start opening, allowing light to come in, then shapes. If you had your eyes opened, if you were doing something else, but you were kind of here in and out, noticing how you are in the moment. The scope is not, again, for you to follow anything, but to find where is it that you're at moment by moment. That's what we don't have time to. Yeah, so bringing your attention back to the screen, perhaps, yeah, seeing the names of everyone. Maybe the videos, if you feel like opening them. Yeah. Are we gonna go into the breakout rooms? If you need to leave, or yes, or if again, if you don't feel like going into the breakout rooms, you can stay here. Yes. Giving the time, I feel that we can go into triads, into breakout room for about 7 minutes, Leila, I think, so that you can share about how did you feel during the practice, or if you couldn't do it, how was it for you to be doing something else and coming here? Yes, like, how are you? It's just an excuse to connect, yes, and be with others. So yeah, so how did you find the exercise? Thank you, Leila, for writing. Feel free to share and connect. So you can go into the room or stay here. Went there. Leila, I think Namsa is by her. Oh, they're coming back in 1 minute. Great. Selena, hello. Ajesha.
Hi.
Hello, welcome back. Christina, Angelica, Caitlin, Morma, Mitana, Monza, Christina, Jessica, Nick, Amy, Leila. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, giving room again to traditions. Yes. So how was it to be in the small group and now being here with the big group? And we wanted to give some space for us to perhaps share if there's anybody that feels like, yeah, like sharing here with the big group questions, or how did you feel, or what did this make you reflect on?
I can share something.
Sure.
Hi. Thank you so much, Paula, for this really amazing session. But one of the things that I struggle with, and I was reflecting on, I mentioned it to Talina in our breakout room as well, is that this session actually really illustrated something to me about myself, which is that it's really a commitment to decide to relax, or to do what you're saying, take the time out, be with yourself, back away from all the other things. And I've always found it a struggle when I have tried to get into meditation practice. My brain is always going, wah! So it's a general thing I've faced in my whole life. And today I was like, look, there's this hour, I'm taking it. This is what we're doing. And I have to, I even said to myself, think of it as like an instruction. And even then I've struggled, so the very fact of your amazingly gentle, calming voice and everything you were saying, of course, I do definitely feel relaxed, but I realize that it is a commitment. You have to choose to do the work. It's not, So I think that's maybe something generally with well-being. It's not just, you have to choose to do the work. It's actually quite hard work to relax. So, yeah.
Yeah. Ayesha, thank you for that. I feel that there's something that comes previous, like choosing, and is just cultivating awareness, because like that possibility of relaxation, it's always there. Yes, we were talking with Leila. Yes, it's not, we can be in a meeting and then realizing that our joy is like this. Yes, only that. Yes, like giving ourselves like that room to be with gravity. It's so important. So it comes with something in neuroplasticity that is in our brain, that is the neuroplasticity. Yes, and it's like that our whole system, not just our brain, but our system is like a huge green field of grass. Yes, huge green field of grass. And what happens if every day we walk in the same place? A path would open. Yes, our brain, our system works the same way. Yes, if we are not aware and we keep walking the same path of being tense, of like, that's what's going to be alive, what's going to be real. What mindfulness allows us to do is just being aware, just noticing that well, actually is much bigger than what I thought. Yes, and that realization is what brings the possibility of opening space in the moment. Yes, what we are doing is not for it's just for the system to remember something that the system knows, which is the restoration aspect that can be there at hand always. Liz.
Thank you, Paula, thank you. And what a wonderful session. I just want to echo Aisha's need to commit to I find it really hard and very difficult. It's not how my brain is wired. And so it takes a lot. It's just really hard. But I love this session. I love the commitment, and it's something that we care deeply about. But there are two other points I wanted to really say. I learned about gravity being something that is that holds us. I love that. I'm taking that with me, and that's my message for me, is I'm being held by gravity every day, and that's so cool. And I really had the joy in the small groups works to talk to Morma and Jessica, and that I really enjoyed as part of the session, just to talk, just to have some space to talk. So thank you. And so those were my 3 learnings from today.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. That possibility of sharing, if we would again dive deeper into our nervous system, we would understand why sharing is so important. Yes, but keep doing it. I just want to close before I give the word to Anik. I know that it's about time, but I just want to read a poem by Rilke about gravity. It's very short. It says, "How surely gravity's law as strong as an ocean current, takes hold of the smallest thing and pulls it towards the heart of the world. Each thing, each stone, blossom, child is held in place. Only we, in our arrogance, push out beyond what we each belong to for some empty freedom. If we surrendered to the earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees. Instead, we entangle ourselves in knots of our own making and struggle, lonely and confused. So like children, we begin again to learn from things because they are in God's heart. They have never left him. This is what the things can teach us: to fall patiently, to trust our heaviness. Even a bird has to do that before it can fly. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you all for being here, for giving yourself this chance. And Anik, please close over the hour, sorry.
Thank you so much, Paula, for that session. It was really incredible for me. And for me, I think I'm going to try to create small moments of non-doing and try and build my capacity for non-doing, to create space and give space and time for transitioning instead of going from doing to doing to doing. So that's what I'm taking away. And just for the rest of us, a reminder that Paula will be recording a couple of short meditation practices for us to use in the future. And we're going to be posting these on the We Care project website in the next week or so. To find out about other events in the series, please sign up for the SVRI newsletter and keep an eye on our social media platforms. And Layla will be pasting a link in the chat box on how to sign up for the SVRI update that gets sent out weekly. We'd really be very grateful if you could let us know how useful you found the session. Layla's going to launch a poll for us. And if you could just share a minute or a couple seconds, and hopefully if technology allows, we can also share the results. So while Layla is working on that, I also just wanted to invite you, if you wanted to share any additional feedback, please feel free to do so. I'm going to put my email into the chat box. You can email me at any point with feedback. We really do welcome it and do take it seriously and want to learn more from you. And if you have anything else that you'd like to say, one word that you'd like to put into the chat box about how you found the session, that may be beyond the poll, please feel free to do that. But yes, again, thank you everyone for taking the time out to be here with us and for yourselves, and take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.